Dr. Eleanor Hayes took a long sip of coffee as she stared at the night sky through the lens of the massive radio telescope. Out here, 50 miles from the nearest town, the stars shone brighter than Eleanor had ever seen. No light pollution, just endless inky blackness dotted with an infinity of glittering pinpricks. This remote facility was her home away from home. While most of the staff clocked out at 6 p.m. sharp, Eleanor regularly pulled all-nighters. She found a zen-like peace in the late-night hours, accompanied only by the gentle hum of machines and the occasional beep from a computer. Tonight, however, that tranquility was broken. Eleanor sat up straight, a puzzled look on her face. The telescope had detected an anomaly, a repeating signal coming from a previously blank portion of the sky. She cross-checked the coordinates, confirming it was emanating from deep space. Could it be a signal from an intelligent extraterrestrial source? Eleanor's heart raced. She had to decode it. Hours passed in a blur. Eleanor ran the signal through program after program, passing the data every which way. As the first rays of dawn peeked over the distant hills, Eleanor sat back, bleary-eyed. There on the screen were lines of translated text. "Do not trust the ones who arrive." Eleanor read the words again and again. Her excitement turned to unease. This was no mere mathematical broadcast. It was a message, a warning. The morning staff arrived, greeting Eleanor with puzzlement. She relayed the news, careful to hide her unsettled feeling. They had to keep things under wraps until the signal could be fully analyzed and confirmed. But there was one person Eleanor trusted, her colleague, Dr. Raj Patel. Raj had worked at the observatory for 15 years and had become a mentor and friend. Eleanor pulled Raj aside, showing him the cryptic warning. His eyes widened. "You're sure the translation is correct?" he asked. Eleanor nodded grimly. "I checked it 100 times, but I was hoping you would double-check my work, just to be sure." Raj agreed and soon confirmed the message was indeed a warning not to trust those who were coming. A tense silence settled between the two scientists as they pondered the implications. Before they could discuss it further, an emergency broadcast on Eleanor's phone interrupted them. Raj turned on the TV just as the news anchor spoke. "We are receiving reports that several unidentified objects have entered the Earth's atmosphere within the past hour. Government and military officials have been placed on high alert as these objects continue toward major population centers." Eleanor and Raj shared a look of dawning horror. This was what the warning had anticipated. Within the hour, the objects slowed their descent over cities around the world. New York, Beijing, London. They were sleek silver discs, glinting in the sun. As crowds gathered below, hatches opened in the smooth metal undersides. Strange humanoid figures stepped out, lifting their arms in what appeared to be peaceful greeting. In perfect unison they spoke. "People of Earth, we come in peace. We bring you knowledge and technology to cure your ills." The crowd cheered and applauded, welcoming these mystifying visitors. But Eleanor and Raj could only shiver as they recalled the signal's foreboding words. Over the next weeks, the aliens, who called themselves simply the benefactors, made good on their word. Their technology enabled clean energy, faster space travel, and life-saving medicines. World leaders praised the benefactors and encouraged cooperation with them. But Eleanor noticed how the aliens avoided questions about their home planet and certain aspects of their technology. They discouraged investigation into their artifacts, which they claimed were too complex for human science to grasp. Eleanor knew the benefactors were not what they seemed. She and Raj had to get the warning out, but who would believe them over the celebrated aliens? In secret, they constructed a device to broadcast the signal globally, but the day before they could activate it, the government agents appeared in the observatory. "We're here for Hayes and Patel," their leader announced. "They know too much." The agents confiscated their work and brought them to an isolated complex. As they passed through endless white walls, Eleanor glimpsed lab rooms full of scientists examining alien tech and cells that held people, somehow still alive despite twisted mutations. With dread, Eleanor realized the truth. The aliens were harvesting humanity, using people as fodder for grotesque experiments in their quest for biological superiority. That night in her cell, Eleanor tapped messages in Morse code through the wall, hoping there were still few humans who had come to her aid. When footsteps approached the next morning, Eleanor steeled herself. But it wasn't the agents. It was a group of shadowy figures led by a hacker Eleanor recognized, Anissa Katari, who Eleanor had contacted weeks ago. While Anissa's crew freed Eleanor and Raj, Anissa hurriedly explained that she had built a network of satellites to transmit Eleanor's warning signal. But they had to act now, before the aliens discovered their plans. An hour later, the message was playing over every radio, TV, phone, and computer around the world. Do not trust the ones who arrive. For a moment, global communication went silent. Then fury erupted. Mass protests and riots broke out as the truth about the benefactors spread. World militaries mobilized, but the alien ships had already left orbit. Before they vanished, they rained destruction down on half the Earth's major cities, crushing any remaining resistance. When the ashes settled, Eleanor and Raj returned to the remote observatory, surveying the heavy price of victory. Gone was the gleaming promise offered by the aliens. Now rubble and radiation zones scarred the land. Eleanor gazed up at the impassive stars, hearing once more the warning's ominous words. They echoed the vulnerabilities she now saw in humankind. Even beyond the atmosphere, dangers lurked. Incomprehensible, but very real. For all their vaulted intelligence, humans were not masters of their fate. Out here, under the cosmos, Eleanor felt very small indeed. In the vastness of space, she wondered, are we ever truly safe?